Welcome back, everyone. It's episode one. I don't know, Steve, where are we? 100 and something, aren't we?
I'm going 110-ish,
At this
somewhere in
point, we
there.
don't care. We're just glad everyone's listening and that we've gotten this far.
Mhm.
Uh, welcome back to another episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. I'm Jeff. Steve's on the line. We're here to talk guns, Steel Challenge, and anything else we can come up with. How you doing, Steve?
Man, Jeff, I'm so busy I can hardly stand it, but I'll take it.
Well, that's
That's
good to
better
hear.
than the other. Yeah, it's better than the other option.
Yes, this is true. I know the feeling, for me, uh, I'm busier in retirement than I ever was when I was working. I the It's amazing how when you offer something that people like, I'm talking about my training. I'm like the last month I've got a new student every week that then comes and sees me every week. It's been
That's
phenomenal.
awesome.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
Well, it's kind of
That's
like your
really
parts.
cool.
If you provide something that people are looking for that they want, and it's a quality part, they want to buy your stuff. Same thing
Yeah,
goes with
yeah.
my, I'm very fortunate that the people want to train and I'm helping people get better. In fact, I was just printing up some new every time someone makes Grandmaster, I give them a nice little thing they can hang on their wall about making it and when they made it and how many matches they shot. And I just printed up some new ones this past week. So it's fun handing those out too.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I got a text. It's funny you say that. I got a text from a guy that came to train with me here a couple months ago, and he was all excited. He sent me a text last night saying that he made Grandmaster and Rimfire Rifle open. So I'm super stoked for Shane. Yeah, it's really cool,
Absolutely.
man. I probably enjoy that more than shooting or the training piece. Is just you know being a part
Hearing
of
about it.
helping, yeah, and helping people be successful. I enjoy that part. Yeah.
I may have told the story on the podcast. I'll tell it again. The day that I made GM in OSR was the same day that Jasmine Lander, one of the sisters who were my first students, made GM and rimfire rifle iron.
That's awesome.
And as I remember it, I was happier for her than I was for myself.
Yeah, yeah, for
That
sure.
was pretty cool. So, well,
Yeah,
listen,
and it's
let's talk. Go ahead, finish up.
no, no, I was just gonna say it's at some point in your shooting career, and I've had this conversation, man. I've been last weekend had a group from Florida. The weekend before, I had Amanda and Eric Osterman from Wisconsin. Man, she's a beast. She's
Mm-hmm.
what I don't even know. She's 13, 14. Yeah, it's crazy. I wish I would have started shooting at that age and then had another group from
Don't we
Florida
all?
the the week prior. But it's man, just had the conversation about training versus training people and stuff like that. Everybody wants to see the shop where the magic happens, and walk in the shop and there's not all but quite a few awards on the wall. They're like, holy cow. And I said, yeah, at some point, don't get me wrong, I'll always be a competitive person, but it's not that I don't feel like I have a lot left to prove in the sport. I'm just having fun, and I'm trying to help other people reach their goals and their dreams, whether it's through the training or the parts. And it's actually kind of interesting the last couple of weeks when we've had people come over, they ask for gear recommendations. And we've done some little gunsmithing. I had somebody that actually had the push takedown on the Mark IV, actually broke it. I've never seen that piece break before, but in about 6 minutes we took it apart, and of course I've got a couple spare parts rolling around, and
Yep.
did that and put a stripling thumb rest on a tandem cross cornerstone and installed my trigger and put a set of grips and mag wells. He's like, holy cow, this is a whole different gun. I said, no, it really is. It's just, you know, it's tapping into people's potential, and sometimes it's tapping into the potential of the equipment, let alone them. So yeah, man, it's I really I get a lot of fulfillment out of helping people reach those goals. So yeah, it's a good
Absolutely. I know
time.
the feeling. Yep. Well, listen, we last recapped when we got to see each other at West Florida,
Yeah.
but that's
Hmm.
not the last time we got to shoot at a match together. In fact, we didn't shoot together at West Florida, but we did get to shoot together at the Georgia State Steel Challenge Championships. Let's talk about that match. Wow,
Do you
what
want
a match.
do you want to talk about the blanket first, or we get back into that some other
We
time?
will we will allude to people who may or may not have seen the blanket
Oh.
yeah. So sure, let's just go right there.
So
It was cold. It was cold,
it
okay?
Sunday was unseasonably cold. It
Yes.
was it was really windy too. So we had a booth set up at the 2025 Creekside Custom Steel Challenge Georgia State Steel Challenge Championship presented by Kentucky Gun Club. Did I get that
See,
right,
it
Jeff?
takes more than one breath to say the name of that match name. It's wonderful, but it's long.
So at the match, we had a booth set up and we did extremely well. It was a great group of people, and I think Alan had just over, what was it, 300 guns, 303, 305, which, yeah, he was so stoked about, which I was really stoked about. That's a great
As you are
size
yeah,
match.
keep I'm sitting here right in front of my computer. I'm gonna pull up Creekside, and it looks like total guns for that match was 270. So I think that was year two of the match, but there wasn't one last year. Is that correct?
I believe that to be true. Are you sure there wasn't 300? I swear it was 300.
It's according to practice score, it's got 270.
Mm,
I had
okay.
301, and I would love to see Alan break my match record
Yeah.
because
Okay. Well, anyway.
I know what it's like to put on a match that big and to keep it running smooth, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. He and the staff.
Yeah,
You know,
fantastic match staff. ROs,
they've got a
awesome.
very similar situation with the way that the stages are, where they've got five of them together, and then you've got to do a little walk. Maybe not quite as far as you have to walk at the whack, but you do a little walk down to go shoot five to go.
Hmm.
But the stages were set up well. You can't control the weather. We joke about, putting in our request not to get rain down here. And that Alan forgot to put the request in to keep it at least, seasonably comfortable and not freaking cold.
So that brings us to the blanket.
Yes, the
So
blanket.
the not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, um, Caleb Peterson, which most people know, that's my daughter's boyfriend, and he was on Team Steel Target Paint, but now he's in college, and that's definitely the number one focus right now. But last Christmas, he made me a blanket. He went through years of pictures of me on Facebook and Instagram and took
There
some
were
of the,
pictures of you without the beard
yeah, that was
on that
eight
blanket. Yes.
8 years ago, maybe somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it said these Steve Foster, and it had all sorts of pictures on it. So we're at the match. I'm like, man, I'm kind of cold. My wife's like, hey, I'll bring a blanket. I said, okay. So she brings it over, hands it to me. I was like, what? Number one, why do you have that? And then number two, you really expect me to walk? So I embraced it, Jeff. I owned it, and we had a blast. So there was a
I listen, from the bottom of my heart, I can say you kept me warm because there's pictures of me wrapped in that blanket. So
it's, it was like a movement on Sunday.
yeah, exactly. Yes. Touch the blanket. Touch the blanket.
That was
No,
pretty
but that
darn
match,
funny.
it was fun too, from a steel target paint perspective, because we were able to get all of the steel target paint shooters that were shooting that match.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was just how it worked out because I just got signed up for squads, but we all shot together, which was amazing.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it was you and myself, and Jesse and Claire Grace, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
And there were others that we absolutely missed. That wanted. I know the shooting Gigi, Randall
Hmm.
Miller, had said she was hoping to make that match, but she had made commitments to stay local. So she wasn't able to make it, but hopefully she'll make it next year. I know I'm coming back every year going forward. And I've already told all of my uh, people down here that they need to put that match on their radar. It is well worth going to.
Yeah, from Chick-fil-A to, they had
Oh yeah.
water available, snacks. I mean, painters. I mean, it was well run. So congratulations to Alan. Had a really good prize table too.
Absolutely. You contributed some stuff to that prize table.
Yeah, it was one of those things. We've since people know that we have a business with Creekside Custom and then the recent acquisition of Crazy Ivan, we actually took a page out of Brian Conley's book and created a sponsorship request form on our website to help us keep track of all those. To say that we've had a lot of requests is probably an understatement, and I'll say number one, I wish we could be in a financial position to support everybody, but we did make a conscious decision since I live in Georgia to go above and beyond to support Alan. And so, man, we had a fully partnered with Full Courts and had a customized Mamba on the table with grips, Magwell's trigger. I
Mm-hmm.
put a Defender XL on it. So you're talking close to a $2,000 gun there. Then we souped up a Mark IV with a trigger and magwell and all those kind of things. Probably a $1,300 setup, and then we took one of our original chassis, and then we put it out to the folks on Facebook and that was my wife's idea, which is fantastic. See what kind of theme gun. So we did a tombstone theme gun, and
Yeah,
the
that was
chat.
pretty, that was
Oh,
hot.
dude,
That engraving was definitely amazing.
I appreciate it. We should have charged by the minute to touch that gun. That thing got a lot of love. So yeah, between that and we put in the new Ruger 1022 with a carbon fiber barrel and all that kind of stuff. So you're probably talking, with engraving and all that, it's probably $1,600-$1,700 gun. So there was thousands and thousands of dollars in guns. And then, of course, we partnered with Ely, been with those guys for 6-7 years.
Yep.
They allowed us to give 50 rounds of ammo to every competitor. And then my brother, he does does all the 3D printing for us for boxes and stuff like that. And so every competitor got a mag loader and Ely ammunition. So yeah, it was a pretty big deal, man. It was just the feedback though, based
Well,
on.
not only that, but it's funny because when I saw how he was planning on doing the category awards,
Mhm.
which originally was just going to be high overall for the category. I noticed this about probably a week before the match. I went in and I read it and I saw that and I gave him a call. And I said, Alan, I understand this is how you want to do it. I said, but let me give you a suggestion in that you're really then making someone who's shooting a pistol compete against someone who's shooting a rifle.
Sure.
And he says, say no more. I've already thought about it. I'm taking care of it. And so he had already either been contacted or realized that was not necessarily the way to handle the category awards. And he did have the category awards, of course, based on the fact that there was enough guns in each category for each division. He actually gave out awards. So again, he's a match director thinking about the shooters, which is amazing. As
Mhm.
when you go and again, like I said, I hope next year that I get 20 people from the WAC to come out there. I mean, if 20 more people came out to the WAC and they each shot 2 guns, suddenly that match has got 310 guns in it instead of
Oh yeah.
270. That would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be
Yep.
amazing. And again, just the I can't stress enough how, as a match director, but going to that match as a shooter, how impressed I was with how everything was run.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was really cool. But you mentioned Crazy Ivan. You did some
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
How are things going? You're now shipping, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've got all the pre-orders filled, and man, it's been. Hey, have I told you how much I love my wife? Yeah, she's I'm not sure what I've done in my life to deserve somebody like her. She's absolutely amazing. She's really stepped into the business and helped out, and she's an expert on shipping and exporting and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, she's been doing great. So yeah, sales in the last month have been really, really humbling. So that's been great. Yeah, it's the supply chain activity at this point in time, to make sure that we got the product and that people want. And man, it's just been really, really positive to get feedback from people on what we're doing, what we're trying to do. And yeah, man, it's been really, really good. And the other thing that we've seen as well with the increase with Crazy Ivan is, in the 1922 trigger has been exceptionally popular. So
Yep.
I really, really appreciate everybody's feedback, help, and promotion of that product. It means a lot to my wife and myself, because we're still a real small business, and every little bit helps. But we've seen an
Well,
uptick in
I
sales
did my
across the
part.
board.
I've sold a couple of those triggers for you, and I brought back three from uh from the Georgia match, in hopes of being able to move them to any shooters down here who would be interested in having them. And lo and behold, I bought one of them. So yes, I owe you money for that trigger. I bought one because I fell into a Mamba and bought that, and it needed a new trigger, and so it's of course got to sport the 1922 trigger. So I still got two more that I'm going to help move to people, and I've got my matches are first 3 weekends of the month. And I'm hoping to promote those, and there's a good chance that both of those will be sold before the end of the month.
That's
So,
awesome. I
absolutely,
really
absolutely. But
appreciate the help.
again,
And
I'm shooting your triggers, I'm shooting your comps, I'm shooting the Big Daddy grips, both the original and now the new brass. Um, quite frankly, the only reason and this will segue into another thing I want to talk about, but the only reason I'm not shooting another set of Big Daddy brass grips on the Mamba is that, and you met her, Bit, my girlfriend,
hmm,
um, doesn't is new to the sport, and when she gripped the gun, it left marks in her hands, and she didn't like that. So
really,
she is shooting, yes. So she is shooting the I think the original finger swell, maybe hive grips. I think it might be hive grips on that gun, and she's happy, and that's all I care about.
hey,
But
you know what?
mentioning
Get her.
mentioning Bit, I wanted to say too that I just want to be open with you. Um, I have been texting your wife in the background. I hope
I'm
I hope that's okay.
I may
Um,
or may not have heard what's going on.
well, okay, so for everybody that's sitting there with their mouth agape, it's nothing nefarious. It's all good. Um, Teresa does some amazing, and people have seen it, but some
Yeah,
amazing stained glass work. And I contracted her to a very specific piece, um, that is done. I've seen pictures. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to get it. I think it comes. I got the shipping notice. I think it's due to come next Tuesday. So
yep.
you
Shipped
know,
yesterday, I think.
yep.
It was either
If
that or it got dropped off this morning.
if you haven't, Steve is it's on his page. He's posted pictures of stuff. I believe Brian may have a stained glass llama. I could be wrong.
Two of them. A gold, a llama with wearing gold glasses, and another
Yep.
one wearing rubies. Yeah, it's
Yep.
really cool.
No, it's
Yeah.
it and but the cool thing is that I was able to talk to her and work up a concept, and she ran with it, and it's just beautiful. So um I'm not sure if she'll listen to this podcast, but she knows how much I appreciate it, and how much I thank her for doing something like that. So that was really cool.
That is cool. And I was talking to my brother last night about that other project.
Yes.
He said he's working out a couple things. The ask, he wants it to be cool. The ask is taking him a little bit more creative time to get it to what he would like to, but he wanted me to pass that along to you last night, that
Well, that's
he hasn't
cool.
forgot about you. Yeah.
Well, funny story there. About a week after we had talked at the Georgia match, his, it came up on Facebook, someone you might want a friend. And so I'm like, oh yeah, well, friend Heath. And then I got a message back. I haven't forgot about you. I'm like, I know you haven't forgot about me. It's only been a week. So that's
Yeah,
good. Well,
he's
yeah, it's you know what? Again, that's kind of the thing where like you, it's not about getting it done fast. It's about getting it done right.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, what people don't understand, because a lot of people, that's the first gun match he's ever been to, which was kind of cool, because he
Hmm.
didn't know what to expect. He's heard about me and all this kind of stuff, but yeah, he didn't kind of like know the involvement in the sport kind of thing, and he was like, some of the best people. I said, yeah, man, the shooting community is full of
Yep.
fantastic people. So yeah, he thought that was really cool, and he did really, really well. He's a geek when it comes to the 3D printing stuff.
Oh,
I don't know. He's
there were some he had, from what I saw, there was of course a lot of mag carriers, but also
Yeah,
the
yeah,
100 round ammo carriers, and he had like Deadpool, and I mean there was just a
yeah,
whole slew of them that were just it was like if you were looking for one, it was tough to decide which one to get because there were so many choices.
yeah. And he loves custom stuff too. Like I've got my new 1022 box. I've got a Transformers one, because that's the generation I grew up in.
Yep.
But Hunter Olsen, he made him a Deadpool one, and then I've got two Iron Man boxes going out for the 1022 and the 2245 to a customer tomorrow. And what was the other cool one? Yeah, there's just been so many. Oh, what was the Amanda Osterman's got a logo, so we made her four boxes, two sets for the 2245 and two for the other. And he did her logo wearing Hunter's HD gold glasses on it. Man, it came out super cool, super cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
it's pretty neat.
it was fun seeing him there. And now that Creekside, Crazy Ivan, and Heath are coming to matches, you do know there's an open invitation to set up a table at next year's West Florida.
We
Um,
will. I'll definitely be there for
that would
sure.
be fantastic. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all right, let's switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk about what's going on in the Steel Challenge shooting community. Um, there's a new survey out. Did you see the survey?
Yes, I
Okay, so
did
everyone,
actually.
there's a new survey out there. Um, the committee is asking some questions of the community to help for some guidance. So I think in general the questions are good. Um, I think they are trying to understand, what it is the people in the community want. You can't ask everything, and you can't have open-ended questions. You got to keep it really simple and straightforward. So I think the questions they've got out there, hit for at least part of what they're trying to get done, and getting some feedback. So if you are a member listening to this podcast, or people who are members and maybe don't listen to the podcast, please get out there um, and take the survey.
Yeah, I don't want to bias anybody on the survey, but 22 revolvers
I
are
voted yes, Steve. I voted
are
yes.
amazing. So
Okay,
yeah.
I so here's
uh,
and this is something I was one of the people who said there's a place for your limited optic to compete. It's called open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we did the survey, and the survey last year predominantly said people want limited open as their, or limited optic as their own, as its own division.
Sure.
And so the organization listened and they created that as a provisional division. And that division is blowing up. Absolutely just going like gangbusters. I think it's right behind, it's right there nestled in the third, but a close third at Worlds behind Carry Optics and Open.
Mm.
So for a, a brand new provisional division to have to sit right there, I haven't done pulled all the data and looked at the numbers. But Zach would know better. He'd be able to get them. I have to, go to the registration page and throw it in this uh, Excel and do some fanciness to get counts. Zach could get them right away, but I think, well, maybe not. Let me just think here as I'm talking. The fact of the matter is, that said, that while there was a division it could compete in technically, it was not necessarily the best division for it to compete in. And it shows because there's a lot of people using it. So the same thing with regards to rimfire revolver, that while those can compete in rimfire pistol, iron and optic,
Mm-hmm.
it's not, people sit there and go, well, it's not as competitive. And so it really
Sure.
did deserve its own division. So that's a question on the survey. And who knows, based on the responses, um, that could be something that we see coming up as provisional divisions.
And here's the other thing about the survey. I know we've talked about it before. Regardless of, we've had a little bit of pre-podcast discussion on this topic about the survey. At the end of the day, I just appreciate the organizations looking for feedback. Are
Yep.
we always going to agree about what direction and this question or that question or what people want to do and what think people not because look, it's somewhat governing by an HOA kind of deal, so you got to be a little bit careful of that. But at the end of the day,
It's
people
a
are
good
asking
way of
for
putting it, Steve.
yeah, people are asking for input, man, so that's cool. We may not agree with it all, but there's different ways about going around different or going about different things. So yeah, no, it's cool. I'm pretty optimistic and happy about when I saw the survey. So that was cool.
So here, actually, so for those that are interested, just go to scsa.org/surveys, and you'll be able be logged in, and you'll be able to take the surveys. And after you're done taking it, you can actually click on the link to see the results. Right now, it looks like
Hmm.
there's approximately 165 people that have answered most of the questions, and they are predominantly positive. Well, I'll just talk about it. So most people are saying remove magazine restrictions from the divisions. That's one of the questions. Most people are saying let ISR use a compensator. Most people are saying, and it's 80%, over 80% saying, let's create rimfire rifle iron and rimfire rifle optic or revolver optic. So
My
that's
people.
solid. Um,
What about the
70,
stages?
right now it's sitting at 71.6% of 169, or
Hmm.
121 out of 169 people have voted yes to add new stages.
Okay.
So that's that one. And then um not surprisingly, um there are, the last question was, should any new steel challenge stages include movement? Um, and that means moving under the clock within a string. And
65% said no.
that is correct.
Really? I
It's
just made that
60,
up.
it's 65.06% as
No
of
way.
this. Yeah, you nailed it.
No way.
You nailed it. So, I mean,
That's
that's pretty
awesome.
much right there in the middle of the 2/3, 1/3.
Hmm.
But that would be for any new stages.
Hang
That's
on. Let's back up. How did I guess that? I mean, really?
yeah.
That's crazy.
108 out of 166. That is 65.06%. I'm thinking you're on the back end looking at the survey results and just
No,
making it out.
I didn't know that it had that what you're walking through. Um I did I didn't know it had that ability. That's cool.
Yes, actually, for any of the surveys that have been out there, you can look at the results. Which again is another great feature that the organization provides is that the survey results are not secret.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can go out there. But please, everyone, whatever your feelings are for any of these questions, please express them by taking the survey. It's kind of like voting. It might not happen, but at least your input was accepted and part of the results process.
Yeah, yeah.
All
That's
right.
cool.
Well, lastly,
65%.
I know you nailed it, dude. You know
That's
what?
crazy.
Because you
That's
you know why?
crazy.
It's because you are the Steve Foster. That's why.
That's true, Jeff. That's true. That's 100% true. I'm not going to debate that with you.
So I did look here too. We were talking about worlds. Actually, the right now the most registered division for centerfire pistols is carry optics at 55.
Mm,
Limited optics is at 41, followed by
really?
open at 35. So
Really? Huh.
limited optics has moved into that second position. As far as worlds is concerned, of centerfire pistols. And of course,
Mm.
the game is still dominated by PCCO, RFRO, and RFPO. All of them are over 100 in each division.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh.
what I've always found interesting, and I think a lot of people realize this, maybe they don't because they're not a data nerd like me, but I think there's 712 guns registered in the match, and 142 of them are registered as seniors.
Really?
So,
Hmm.
do the math, that's almost 25%.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. 175
Yeah.
would be 25%. So that's solid. And 92, again, it's a different way to look at it, but 92 of the guns are registered as lady.
Hmm. Oh, that's good.
So,
Tell me
yeah.
again. Tell me again, Jeff. Is senior 55 or 60?
Senior is 55.
Okay.
Senior is 55 to 65. Then from 65 to 70 is super senior.
Mm-hmm.
70 and above is distinguished
Distinguished.
senior.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then my good friend Bill Mitchell says that at 75, there should be a division called Dust. He wants to shoot in the Dust division.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it was just the last match I held last month's um, third weekend of the month. I think Bill turned 80, 79 or 80. Yeah. And he's still out there coming every week, practicing, making all the matches. It's great to see him out there.
Yeah, I had a moment to catch up with Bill at the Georgia State match. Good guy. Good guy.
If I know
Love it.
Bill, that moment turned into a good 10 minutes.
No, it was,
He's fun. He's fun.
I actually shared this story with my wife, and I won't get into too much detail, but Bill brought me back to a conversation that we had in 2000 and, ooh, I think it was 18 or something like that. Just an interaction that we had, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I won't go through the detail because we were talking about gear and stuff like that. But I remember when I met him, I didn't recall the detail of that conversation because talked to a lot of folks in the course of a match. But it was really cool that he kind of brought me back and and this is what I shared with my wife. It's like, you never know what interaction you're going to have and who you're going to have it with and how it will make an impression on them. So,
Yep.
there's a lesson in all that, but that was really cool to talk to Bill and kind of go back through all that and why he made the decision that he did. And again, based on gear and feedback, it was pretty cool.
Well, there's been a couple of those way back pictures. Tom Nealon posted one from
Oh
the
yeah.
17 U.S. Steel match, and I posted one from that match just not too long ago. And you look at that, and in that picture is Larry Joe Steely
Hmm.
and Steve Wright, and
Hmm.
a couple people that have since moved on and aren't shooting anymore. Um, and there was the young gentleman and his father in that picture. Did you see the picture?
I did, and I couldn't.
I
I
can't
couldn't
remember that
pick.
kid's name. He was fast.
Mm-mm.
And I
He-
remember at that match, um, watching people shoot rimfire rifle and going, there's no way I could shoot that fast. There's no way. And it was stinking thinking, because when I got home a couple of months later, I ended up getting a rimfire rifle. Thank you, Joel Fishkin. And that kind of opened the floodgates to then getting other guns. And next thing you know, it's Club 13, and now it's not Club 14, but now there's 14 divisions. And I mean, sometimes it's a chore to decide what gun I want to shoot at a match, because there's so many I love to shoot.
Mhm.
So,
I I remember the dad and the son, and I can't remember their names, but it'd be interesting to see.
Colin, was it Colin?
No, I don't think so.
Let's see if we can figure it out here real quick. Let's go to scores. We'll go U.S.
There,
Steel.
there's no way we'll
Oh,
get
we're gonna
there.
figure it out. We're gonna figure it out here. Give me two
There's like
seconds.
550 people
Yeah,
shot that
but he
match or
shot
something.
rimfire rifle. Colin Campbell.
Yeah.
It was Colin Campbell,
Yep.
and
Look at you.
his son was Brian Campbell.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I wonder what happened because Brian, Colin's the son, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So Colin, man, he was he from Indiana or something like that?
Hey,
That
you
dude
nailed it.
was a
You nailed it.
monster.
Yep.
He's a monster. And I remember him and then oh, who else? I know oh, I'm drawing a blank.
You mean from that match?
Yeah, did he win it or did he come in second
He came in
place?
second behind Ron.
Yeah. But Colin was, I think it was shortly after that, maybe 12
Well,
months
I think
after.
it was going off
It
to
was a
school.
shoot. Yeah, I can't remember, but man, he could shoot a pistol and he could shoot a rifle like super fast.
Yep. I'm looking here, and it looks like he is not shot for he has not shot in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Because you can look up, as you know, of course I know his USPSA number from it was listed on the match there.
Yeah.
Um, he did shoot, yeah, yeah. But yeah, going back to doing those way back pictures, and you just, I mean, I'm just going down this list now of Ethan Indicano, John Sutter, Tony Martin, don't see them much anymore at matches. Colin Cogdale, he still shows up in a while. I don't know, is John Nagel still shooting? I mean,
No,
these are guys
no.
that we used to see all the time. And of course, well, Ron Oliver, I saw a picture of his kids, and it's like, oh my God, where did time go? Because I remember
Yeah.
little Venus
Venice.
shooting
Yeah.
at Griffin, shooting outer limits, and Ron helping her with the gun, moving back into her starting position.
Yeah.
And and now, I think she's a teenager.
Yeah, yeah. I think she's in high school playing football. That's
It's
crazy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh man, Adam Jaszewski, Al Serco, Mac Bragg, uh, just all these names that I just wish I. Of course, I think I saw something from Mackenzie where she wants to start shooting again.
Yeah, I don't know if Eric posted that or not.
I think Eric did. Yeah, time to get back on the range type of thing. Yeah, it's good stuff. So,
It
so
is
are
good
you,
stuff.
had you now here's a more operative question because you got to shoot West Florida and then you got to shoot the Georgia match and I know because friends have been training with you and Amanda posted some pictures of her being on the range. Are you getting able to prep for Worlds this year? Is that just a silly question?
Oh, that is a silly question.
Is
It's
is your prepping for Worlds now making sure you've got a table you can bring?
it that is a true statement. We are sponsoring the World Speed Shoot. It's yeah, yeah, we are sponsoring the World Speed Shoot. So yeah,
Excellent.
look forward to seeing people there. We'll have something set up. We're still talking about definitely going to shoot the Alabama match next weekend. Not
Yeah, in
sure
fact,
if
I was going to go over the matches coming up, but yeah, next weekend you've got the Alabama Speed Shooting Championship,
mhm.
and then the first week in May is Area 4 out in Corpus Christi, Texas. Then the looks like the well, let's see, 5-9. Is that the first weekend or the second weekend? That would be the second weekend in May. The third weekend
Mm,
in May, you've got Area 3 out in DeSoto, Kansas. Then uh fourth weekend in May, you've got third, fourth, I don't know. Anyways, the 15th, the 16th through the 18th, you've got Pennsylvania. I'm sure Kurt Omensetter, our buddy, is involved in that. Then you've got the A1 match at the end of May in Salt Lake City, Utah, right before Worlds, which is at the end of the month.
yeah,
I tell you,
it's
this is
crazy.
amazing. I mean, I can remember when there was no such thing as an area match for steel, and now
I
all the
know.
areas have a match.
Yeah, that's really cool. Hey, is North Carolina this weekend? Is that not up there?
It's not up here because it is this weekend, so it's already
Ah,
technically started.
okay,
Our
okay.
being RO day today, but yeah, so Zach is up there at in North Carolina. I believe he is shooting and doing stats for that match.
Sweet.
That's in
That's cool.
Cherryville, yeah. And they had a pretty good turnout. Let's see here. If I go there and yeah, registration is closed. Let's do a quick view squatting. Yeah, they got a very solid turnout there for the weekend. So that's it's a first year of that match. So um that first match, you just like I remember going back for uh I did a thing on the West Florida match
Mm-hmm.
and kind of looked at the history of who shot that match and when and how many. And we are very fortunate this year to have 301 guns. But that first year, it was 219.
Yeah.
And in 22, right in the middle of COVID, it was 188.
Darn.
So it just goes to show that if you stick with it and put on a quality event, the people will come.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think I've talked enough. Have you talked enough?
Enough for now.
Everyone's like, yes, you've talked too much, Jeff. Let Steve talk more.
No. Yeah. No, it was good catching up and talking about the Georgia match and World Speed Shoot, the survey, stuff like that. No, it was really,
Absolutely.
really good. Really
Well,
good.
again, thanks to everyone who listens. We really appreciate this for, like we said, upwards of over 110 episodes, and we're going to keep doing them as long as people keep listening. So thank you for that.
Yep.
All right, Steve. Well, you can still go to rangestore.net and put in ST podcast 10 for 10% off your order.
Heck yeah. Love it.
All right. Have a good one, Steve.
All right. We'll see you, Jeff. Have a good weekend.
Bye.